Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? How are you people doing here? Back again with another World Cup preview match video, and this time we are previewing Spain versus Germany. That's right, Spain versus Germany. Another game that I'm really looking forward to, but obviously, you look at Spain here. Last time they faced Germany was in the, Euro Nations League, the UEFA Nations League, and we all probably remembered what happened the last time Spain played Germany. Spain just absolutely wiped the floor with Germany and handed Germany their worst than ever defeat in international football in German football history by beating Germany 6-0. That's right. I still remember that game when Spain just absolutely, made Germany look absolutely foolish on the pitch, and obviously last time Spain and Germany met up in the World Cup was obviously 2010. That knockout game when Puyol scored that incredible header against Germany to send Spain, I think, to the World Cup final against the Netherlands. I still remember that game, and obviously you look at Spain and Germany's football history. Spain, they've always had Germany's number in football, especially going back to Euro 2008 final when Spain beat Germany in the final. Obviously, Spain just always have had success against Germany in football. It's crazy, and I'm talking about mainly, the 2000s, 2010s, when, Spain beat Germany Euro 2008 final, then they proceeded to beat Germany again 2010 World Cup, and then, this past, or I think it was last year, yeah, I believe it was last year when Spain just absolutely defeated Germany 6-0 in the UEFA Nations League. So obviously Germany, they've never really had any success against Spain on the international side because, you think that Bayern, for example, you think that them, not being able to always, you think that Bayern always having trouble in against the La Liga teams in the Champions League, whether it's Real Madrid, especially Real Madrid, even Barcelona, and then, well, Bayern, they've obviously beaten Barcelona, but I'm talking about, the majority of Bayern's Champions League exits have always been as a result of them either losing to Real Madrid and all that. That's like what that accounted for, like 60% of Bayern's Champions League exits, and then you had I guess a Villarreal, them embarrassing Bayern in the Champions League. So obviously, I guess you could say that Spanish football has always been Germany's football's biggest kryptonite right now, and obviously that could change in this game. But listen, man, Spain, they are coming off a crazy 7-0 battering of Costa Rica. And here's the thing with Germany, man. I hate to say it, man, but I feel like Germany football has really fallen off these last 4 years. Or, yeah, these last 4 years from the time they won the 2014 World Cup, to the time they suffered a quarterfinal. I mean, well, I think it was like the quarterfinals or something. Or, yeah, I believe it was the quarterfinals at Euro 2016 when they ended up losing 2-0 to France. Obviously, and then, that World Cup when Germany ended up losing to and getting knocked out by South Korea. Yeah, that was possibly the lowest point in German football. I can't tell what was a more low point for German football, when they ended up getting battered 6-0 by Spain in the UEFA Nations League, or when they ended up losing to basically South Korea. And, I guess you could say that now Germany football, it's kind of fallen off. I'm sorry, but this needs to be said. German football, it's no longer the same type of football as how it was in 2010 and 2014, because the biggest issue right now with the Germany national team is that they haven't been able to find really good replacements for, legends like Philipp Lahm, Schweinsteiger, Klose, obviously key players for the Germany national team, especially Hummels and Boateng when they were, still in their prime. That's the biggest issue I feel like right now with Germany's football team, is they haven't really been able just to find that exact type of replacement for talent, because obviously, yeah, the only key players they still have from that 2014 World Cup squad are obviously Thomas Müller and Manuel Neuer, excuse me. So obviously, Germany, they've had a lot of newcomers lately, and I guess the biggest issue right now is Germany's football team doesn't really have the same amount of talent like how they did in 2010 and 2014, because obviously everybody wants to point the finger at Hansi Flick, but here's the thing, man, I don't think it's entirely Hansi Flick's fault, just because, if you don't give Hansi Flick any talent to work with, then what do you really expect Hansi Flick to do with the Germany national team when he doesn't have talent? Because if only Germany had solid replacements for Philipp Lahm, for Schweinsteiger, for Klose, just key German legends that were so crucial for Germany's 2014 World Cup win, then maybe Hansi Flick would have been in much better shape with the Germany national team. Because obviously, let's say that Germany do lose this game to Spain, I could imagine that Hansi Flick is probably going to get sacked as the manager of the Germany national team. But I realistically think it's just because of Germany not having the the ability to replace the talents of those players that I've mentioned. I guess that's what's really held this Germany national team back, because yeah, maybe Manuel Neuer can put on a super cape performance again at the World Cup and maybe save Germany, but like how he did in the 2014 final, because obviously the 2014 final against Argentina, you know, obviously Manuel Neuer, very crucial for that Germany team's World Cup success. But I just think that right now for Spain, you know, you look at Spain, they're looking like another golden generation, you know, especially with players like Pedri and Gavi. Like, we could be seeing another Spanish golden generation on the horizon, like how we did with Vicente Del Bosque, you know, with Xavi and Iniesta. You know, I think we could be seeing the same thing with Pedri and Gavi again. Now, they could look like, you know, the heir to Xavi and Iniesta's throne. However, they're still fairly young, so it's still too early to whether to compare them to Xavi and Iniesta. But for Germany right now, man, they really need Leroy Sané, especially for their front attack. If Germany's front attack is supposed to, you know, be that, you know, lethal attacking machine, they need Leroy Sané, because Leroy Sané, I'm going to tell you, he's super crucial to the Germany front attack, because you look at Gnabry here. Gnabry, I think he was pretty average when he performed against Japan, and, you know, in order for Gnabry to succeed, he needs to be complemented by Leroy Sané's presence there, because if Leroy Sané is going to be in Germany's starting 11, then that's what I think can allow players like Gnabry to have a superb game for the Germany national team. Because obviously right now, man, for Germany, it's really not looking good for them, especially these last couple of years after they won, you know, in their post-2014 World Cup, you know, under Jogi Löw. Obviously, the way how I see it, I think, you know, Germany waited too long to move on from Jogi Löw, even though obviously Jogi Löw, he led Germany to the 2014 World Cup win. Obviously for Hansi Flick right now, the way how I see it, if only Germany could find, you know, the replacements for Lahm, Schweinsteiger, and Klose, then maybe Hansi Flick would have been able to actually work with something like how Jogi Löw was able to work at, you know, the 2010 World Cup and especially the 2014 World Cup. You know, Jogi Löw, he had talent to work with, and I guess outside of players like Leroy Sané and Musiala, Neuer, and Muller, obviously, I feel like that Flick doesn't really have the talents to work with, and I guess that explains why Germany still continue to struggle in international football, you know, is because I guess that nobody's really scared of facing Germany anymore like how they were in 2010 and 2014, if I'm being honest here, because obviously Germany back then, they had boatloads of talent, and now the only talents they really have are Leroy Sané, you know, outside of Neuer and Muller. I feel like the only talents they have are Musiala and Leroy Sané mainly. Those are the only two talents that Germany really have, and they are going to have to figure out how they can build their squad around those players. You know, that's really what I think is going to be the key if Germany are supposed to be that good football team again, like how they were in 2010 and 2014. Now, this is the way how I see it. But for Spain here, obviously Spain, they just got to continue to do their magic, and they can make, I guess, another run at an international trophy with Luis Enrique. But in my honest opinion, in terms of prediction, call me crazy, but I'm saying 3-2 for Spain. I think Spain will beat Germany 3-2, just because Germany, they never had success against Spain on the international stage, you know, Euro 2008, whether it's the 2010 World Cup, and especially the Nations League. Like Spain, they've always had Germany's number. So yeah, that's why I'm saying 3-2 for Spain. So let me know what you think about it. See ya.